Hello, everybody. My name is Lisa Lamont, and I am hostess of Ladies Get Your Prance On. And in the house today, we have the It Girl. We're talking, there's a lot of counterfeit It Girls out there. This is the original Adria. Adria, welcome to the show.
Hello, Lisa. How are you today?
Woo! This
Woo,
every time. I tell you, every time we get together, there's just like, it's just like magical. It's just like,
Yes.
you are absolutely on fire. And for those of you who may not know, there's a few people who may not know who you are. We met down in California at It's Your Turn. And was that 4 years ago?
It's been 4 years. Absolutely. Yes.
And I'm telling you, of all the people that were there, when we got connected and you brought all the women, I mean, women came from all over the country that day. And I was, I'm from Washington State, you're from California, and we all got together. And what you did that day is that you had us all hold hands and bring us into this circle. So can you start off and just share what inspired you to create that circle and bring the women together? Because that's going to go into why we're on the show today.
Yeah, so I was standing in the back of the room, and literally, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I didn't know that I was going to speak, and so I wasn't prepared. And I was sensing that what I needed in my life was always a connected community. And so I wanted to find a way, I wanted to show a way we can demonstrate how that happens, and how when there's these breaks in the community, what happens and how people slip through the cracks. And so that was what that demonstration was for. So I was standing in the back of the room and like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? And then I told a portion of my story. It was like, okay, when we don't have this connectedness, and I kind of help you like hold tight, like you're responsible for the woman that's standing next to you as if she's your sister, your daughter, your brother, whatever that connection is. And so that was what that moment was for. It was to show how we're connected. We all agreed to be there. What are the odds? I think there was 50, 60 women in that room that day. Yeah. And we all decided to make a decision to be there together. And I wanted to show that the bonds that were made that day, it was your choice whether or not to break them or not.
Yeah. Your choice. It was magical because up until that point, there wasn't a connection in the group because we were from all over the country, right? So we knew people on social media. I was a follower of yours on Facebook, but when you actually brought us together after that moment, everyone was BFFs with each other. During the music intermissions, we were up on stage and we were dancing to Taylor Swift "Shake It Off." That was like the theme. That was the theme song for that day. And people were just connecting, and all of a sudden there were selfies like everybody connected after you did that simple act of bringing the women together. So with that said, I would love for you to share with people what you have coming up now, because this is a whole new magical moment that you're creating.
Yes. So again, my name's Adria the IT Girl, and I'm the curator of genius at Urban Alchemy 360. And when I found out that I was an alchemist, I realized that I pull these ideas and concepts out of the air to manifest them in the earth realm. And for a long time, Lisa, I had been thinking like, how do I show what you saw and experienced? How do I show that and bring that to digital platform? Yeah. So for a long time, I've had this show in my mind or this concept in my mind where I do that. So I'm launching the IT Girl tour, world tour. It's a world tour. The IT Girl World Tour, where we're going to be traveling as friends around the world to events that will help us not only cultivate our connected relationships, but also cultivate new relationships and expand the opportunity to deliver our message to the world.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So you had this vision that's always been part of you. One of the things that I want to jump in and ask before we talk more about this event is, what do you mean by alchemist? We've heard that term before, but can you go a little bit deeper and explain what that means?
Yes. So an alchemist is literally what I said. It's someone that's able to take the elements of, it could be like, for my alchemy is digital media. And so how do I use digital media to manifest what you are seeing and hearing? You might have this vision, you might have this concept. So I listen long enough to hear what your vision is and your heart print. So I call it the heart print. So you have a special heart print, Lisa, that you want to deliver to the world. And so I listen long enough to help you craft that alchemy, that message that's specific to you so that it could manifest like gold. So alchemists, back in the day, it's like, oh, the alchemists, they can make gold out of, the air. And it's really like, what is that? And the reason why they say that is because the gold represents wealth and abundance, right? And so it's not literally gold, but it feels like gold, and it has this attraction to it, an element to it that is rich and abundant.
Yeah. And when people that collaborate with you and work with you, you do have that magic. Like, you're able to see who and what they are. When we collaborated 4 years ago, it was like, you need to own Prancing Kittens. You need to own who and what that is, and let people know that it's about bringing women together and supporting. And just like a cat, we always land on our feet at the end of the day. And we as women, we do that. We wear a lot of hats in our daily lives, whether we're a mother or a mother of a pet too, because there's a lot of women who don't have, children, and it's important that they don't feel left out either. It's just like, we have all these things that divide us as women, but we have so much in common. So can you share with us about this world tour and what that means, and who should be there, who should be in the room?
Absolutely. So this first event, I just found out this morning, it's sold out. So I have probably the only passes left. I have actually one. I have 3, and so I have 2 other committed women that have agreed to join me at the World Women's Summit. So that's the World Women's Summit. I think the website. I'll send you the website, Lisa, so you can post it. But the World Women's Summit was started by the World Women's Foundation, led by Rupa Dash. And she is an amazing heart on the planet who is delivering her message to create sustainability for women on the planet, which is a really incredible mission. And I was watching her work, and I was like, I need to be at that event. And so I connected with her. We're formulating a collaboration. We'll be interviewing all of the speakers on their Facebook page over the next, we're starting, I think we're September 11th. We're starting September 11th. And so you'll be able to tune in live and learn about the event, learn about the World Women Foundation and their mission. And then all the speakers will be interviewed until the event, which is happening October 11th and 12th in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Clinton Presidential Center.
And so you're going outside your comfort zone and outside the box, and you're going to Little Rock, Arkansas. Yes. And so I want to talk about that, because a lot of women, yes, they can join in live, and we have all these opportunities. But what makes a difference when you do have the chance to go in person? Can you share the difference of being in person versus live?
Absolutely. So when you're in person, so my vision for this world tour was, not only are you going to be in person, but you're also going to have the opportunity to be my co-host. So I'm casting for co-hosts to join me at the World Women's Summit and other events throughout the year, where we actually are on live on Facebook interviewing the speakers and the guests at the conference. Because one of the things I noticed as I went to events, it's one thing to be there networking, but then it's another thing to integrate yourself into the event, so that you get what the speakers are hearing and seeing on stage, and you get their feedback, and then you get the feedback from the audience. And now you as a participant get to magnify, hey, I was not only at that event, I was an essential part of it in cultivating these connections. So my responsibility to the planet is awakening the consciousness of the planet. And how I do that is through media. And so as I do that, I'm like, what a better way to connect people than to be there with them, connected, and then have the opportunity not to just meet them, but to form bonds. And I know that digital media is a way to do that.
It is. I mean, look at how far, social media's come just in 10 years and in 5 years and in 3 years. I mean, it keeps growing and growing, and there's no reason. I mean, like, look at you and I. You're in California, I'm in Washington State, and we're connecting and we're sharing and we're supporting all the women out there who are watching. And there are men too. Men want women to support one another and collaborate. I get that a lot from men who are entrepreneurs, they're saying, I don't understand why women aren't supporting women more openly. Like there's still that, there's that cattiness. Where do you think that cattiness comes from in women? Do you think it's coming from their fear? Do you think it's coming from their old stories? Where do you think that comes from?
It's a combination of all of that, right?
Yeah.
So we all have this ego or this personality. So lately I don't know if any of you read the book, but I've been listening to repetitively The Seed of the Soul. So if you look at your personality as the outward, this expression, this it girl. So a lot of us are living from the personality, and we're not connecting our personality to our soul because they're really apart. Our soul is not a separate entity. It is us. Yeah. And that was a scary place for me to travel to, because my soul wants the truth to happen, and wants to tell the truth and only see the truth. So when we get the cattiness, it's when we're not connecting to that person that's in the inside of us that's really telling us and guiding us. It's our spiritual guide is within us. It's not some outside influence. It's not some woo thing that exists within us. And that helps us direct and and deliver our purpose to the world.
Beautiful. And when we start each day with mirror love, I'm going to give a little shout out to this mirror love term, because I know that you embrace it. When we start each day by doing our affirmations in front of the mirror and giving ourselves that dose of self-love and saying, Adria, I love you. What good may I do for you today? And then doing a little wink, right? That's my new thing. Do a wink, because we have to lighten up. We're too serious. Like there's plenty for everybody. But once we love and we're happy with ourselves, that's going to be who we attract in our life. That's going to be what we share with the other people. But fear and self-judgment, that is I truly believe is what spills out to other women to give that judgment and that fear of insecurity and not being enough. One of the other things I wanted to ask you, I'm putting you on the spot. This is what I love about Adria, everybody, is that, we do everything off the cuff. That's what we do. What would you like to say to the women out there who are introverts? They're seeing a lot of the people extroverted that are showing up and that are stepping in on stage in the spotlight, and they're hogging it all. I hear that, like they take all of it. When is it my turn? What do you have to say to the women who are introverts and would like to be able to be seen?
I say, get out of your own way. There's a book by, I want to say Seth Godin. I'm probably mispronouncing, but Seth, and he wrote a book called It's Your Turn, believe it or not. And I
didn't know that. Yeah.
I didn't either. On my 50th birthday, someone gave it to me as a gift, and one of my friends was like, he asked them, should I give Adria this book? Like, I kind of stood out to me in the bookstore, like I should give it to her. And they knew that I had done It's Your Turn.
Yes.
And so when he gave it to me, it reinforced that when it's time to take your turn, there's no excuses. There's nothing that's going to stop you, and just take it. And you'll know inside of you, like you've already been told over and over, take your turn. And it's when you sit back and you go, damn, look at her, she's doing that, and you're complaining, that's when you should have took your turn. And no, none of this, what's the word I want to use? None of this, oh, what if people think? And what if and what if they're going to think that anyway? Yep. And who cares? Then that's not the tribe of people that you want to hang around with, which is why I built the bond, right?
Yeah,
and hold hands, and building that bond is important. So you build yourself a bond of people that are going to support you, even if you get out there and you stumble over your words. The whole goal is that you personally, I personally have a message to deliver to the world. And however I choose to do that is I'm standing in my own power. I'm not leaning on someone else. I'm not asking for permission. So unapologetically, go for it.
Yes. And my message to those of you who are consider themselves introverts, because once again, introvert, extrovert, personality styles, all those things, there's nothing in your way but you. And even though you're introverted, a lot of people that I know who are introverted are great observers. They're very super intelligent. And when they do speak, they have something to say. And so I just want to share with you, we're waiting for what you have to share. We're waiting for your message. If you feel like you have a message and you want to come on my show and talk about it, if you want to meet out to Adria and say, Adria, would you interview me? I have something to say, we're there. Like we are taking all your excuses of I'm waiting for somebody else to show up. But we're both here telling you it's your turn, and we're there to support you, and however we want to do that. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about this event and this process coming up. Can you go in a little bit more depth about it?
Absolutely. So what's so great about it is I've secured VI. So everything that I do and have done in my life, I've always been able to do it VIP style. Yeah. I'm a diva. I'll just admit it. I love glam. I love being in the spotlight. I was an introvert, believe it or not. I didn't bloom until, like, I didn't realize I had a body until my 20s. And I had always had one, and that's why I could wonder, like, what does that guy want? And I was like, and then when I became aware of it, I was like, it was awakening for me. Yeah. So that kind of got me into places where I didn't have to pay for tickets, or I could, get to the front of the line a lot sooner once I had the confidence. So once I got the courage and the confidence, I realized, we're all VIPs, and we should be treating ourselves in elegance, and we should be my goal is to always be in an atmosphere where I feel elevated. And so I want to share that with other people. So at the World Women Summit, we have VIP access to the governor's VIP party. We have VIP passes to all the delegate events. And then I actually secured a booth to do the interviews with the speakers and the influencers that are going to be present at the convention. So it's going to be amazing. And these are world leaders. We're talking about the governor is opening, and his wife are opening the event. They've opened up their home for the reception. We have the VI vice president of, I believe it's communications for Inc. magazine. So if you go to World Women Summit, you'll see the list. I got to do my studying so I can say these names more fluently. But these are the type of events that I believe women that are conscious and aware and have a message to deliver to the world and have decided to step into that realm. I need to be really clear. You've made a decision that you're going to step in, own your message. These are the type of spaces we should be in, and we're going to do it It Girl style.
I thank you so much for sharing that. Everyone has access to being a VIP. It's what's in your head. You got to get out of your head. You have to. It's like, I mean, you said yes to going to Arkansas from California. That means that you've committed to flying there. You've committed the investment in your message and your purpose. And there's so many people out there that just sit on their hands and they're like, I would love to go there. I'd love to meet all these people, and I would love to do this or that. It's like, do it. There's nothing stopping you. And I can guarantee you, going to this event and going up to Adria and saying, hey, I saw you on Lisa's show, Prancing Kittens, and I would love to interview you. I guarantee you she's gonna make that time for you.
Absolutely.
I mean, you are not too good or above. You are the It Girl, but the It Girl means that you are accessible. Like, you want people. You want to collaborate. You are a super connector.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's really important to know that the It Girl really is you.
Yeah.
Like, you're the It Girl, Lisa. It's in you. And you decided to take ownership of what's inside of you. And so everyone, I can't say it enough, everyone has a unique message to deliver to the world. Yeah. Whether they're on, you could even be someone that's always been in the background, and you've been seeing and you've been watching and you've been listening. And you said, if they right there, if we could just tweak that. Well, maybe that tweak that you're seeing they should do in whatever you're doing in the background, maybe it's your turn to take ownership of that and do it for yourself. That's what I saw. I'm a child of television era. So I sat in front of the TV a lot. And I used to say, if they would just, why did they do it like that? And I wanted to be, I had this program running where I could see, like, I could take ownership. And I remember my son, it's this cute story. My son, I think he was 1, my middle child, Sean. And there was this event going on at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And I looked at all the speakers, and I had been reading a book. I can't remember the name of the book right now, but I was reading this book, and the author was going to be there. And I said to myself, I looked at my son, I said, well, maybe I can get a babysitter for you, or maybe, I'll take you along. But I found a babysitter in like no time.
Yeah.
I at that time I had a company called Just Ordinary People, helping you do the extraordinary. I made myself some press credentials. I got on the press list. I got full access to meet the author, and I had this little dictaphone because I was going to interview him. And I was super nervous, but he saw my dictaphone and he was right. It was after he spoke and he was writing, signing autographs and stuff on his book. And he took the time to talk to me for like 5 minutes while he made everybody else wait to get an autograph book.
Yeah.
And my son was 1, so speed forward now, it's 11 years later, and I didn't make my move because I was like, oh, what am I going to do with my kids? And all these thoughts kept running through my head. And so this is the birthing of that thought that I had to do that then.
Yeah. But guess what? You're doing it now. You're doing it today, which is the message for the people watching this. Like, it is never too late. Louise Hay, who passed away, I think it's been a 1-year anniversary, maybe 2 years. I'm not sure, because Wayne Dyer, passed away also. But she didn't even start Hay House until she was 55 years old.
Never
like,
too late.
It's never too late to share your message. And can people, do you work one-on-one with people? Like, if people feel like, I want to know my it factor, will you work with me? Can people access you to work with you?
Oh, absolutely. So Lisa will put it, in the comments, but it's urbanalchemy360.com is my website. I am so honored and I have a privilege of working with one of the most amazing business partners on the planet, Milan Rivera. I have to give him his props.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for about 30 years, and both have been running we're running similar visions and similar capabilities in our technical skills. And I said, you know what, let's go into partnership. Let's do this together. So Urban Alchemy 360, we cultivate brands, individual personalities. We also work with major corporations. We just got done doing a major campaign for the California National Association for Women, which was amazing. And it's just been an honor. We're very eclectic in our client base. So you might see us one day saving the planet. We took some portable houses, container homes to Houston right after the floods. So you might see us doing something like that, all the way to working with the Make a Film Foundation, who just did a film with Johnny Depp for a young man who was suffering from adrenal cancer, and he wanted to create his film dream. And so we worked with Tamika Lamison to create this film project, and it's an amazing project that actually touches a lot of, everyone, there wasn't a dry tear in the audience when they did the premiere.
Wow. And I want to give a shout out to Milan, because he's, when I was talking about men support women, he truly walks his talk when it comes to supporting women. Can you share a little bit more about him and how this dream of the Alchemy business came to be?
Absolutely. So Milan works in Hollywood, actor, 45 films and television shows. Later, he was on a life journey, and Spirit said, hey, take this celebrity profile that you've created and do some good in the world. Yeah. And out of that came Urban Alchemy.
Yeah.
And now take that ability to reach people and the influence and all the things that you learned in media world, and now begin this conscious branding, this conscious programming. And so Urban Alchemy was birthed literally out of a quiet space in his life, where he knew it was time to make a major change in his life and a shift. And just, we have a very eclectic group of people that support every project that we work on. So we work on a lot of projects-based programming, and it's just been a joy. So I'm honored again. He's been my friend for over 30 years, and it's just a great joy to see our paths come together to formulate this beautiful brand. So we have probably about 10 or 12 other alchemists that work on different projects at different times with us, and advisors. My mom is on our advisory board for education, and it's a joy. I couldn't have asked for a better partner and a better vision than something that was totally in alignment with what my life purpose is.
That is, thank you so much for sharing. You know, and one of these times I'm going to have to get you to get him to come on the show too, because people, you know, just to be able to meet him. I haven't never met him in person. I've been stalking him, you know, for quite some time, because he really does care. I mean, he really does care about, like you said, the projects and the mission, but he is one of those people that supports women in business. He loves to see people be successful, and women, it's like, you know, it's your turn. It's your turn. So I just want to thank you. So once again, can you share? I'm going to attach all the contact information for your event and your business site, but how can people also find you that might be just listening to the show?
So the It Girl, at the Adria the It Girl. You can find me online anywhere if you just type in Adria the It Girl on Facebook, on Instagram. I don't do Twitter. I don't even get Twitter. I just don't do it. It's too much communication. Like I don't know. Like someone said, we want to do a tweet storm. I'm like, what? A storm on what? And so anyway, so I don't do Twitter, but the best place to find me is at urbanalchemy360.com, or look up Adria the It Girl on Facebook.
Yeah. You know, the only time I use Twitter is when you have the option to adding it. So if I send a post like to Instagram, do you also want to send it to Twitter? So that's my experience of Twitter. So
I think Twitter, I mean, not to say that there aren't people my age on Twitter, but I just think it's just a intense young person, high energy person that has the time to dedicate to the conversation. So whenever you find your conversation, it could be anywhere. It could be Facebook, Instagram. It could just be, you know what, I'm going to sit in front of my Zoom or my computer once a month and record my message. You know, wherever it fits for you, find that technology. That's why I love technology so much, because there's so many different ways to use it.
And it's free, whether you use LinkedIn or Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. I mean, there's no excuse to not be sharing your message. So thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I'm going to have you back again, because you are such a delight and you have so much to share with women out there. So thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. And so until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.